We've been talking a lot about taxes, especially from Brian's point of view, but my specific question for all of you is, at a basic level, would you support a raise in taxes or cuts in the budget? And I'm just kind of interested what the perspectives from the other candidates are.
I think that was the most.
Well, first of all, I'm a Republican, so I'm not generally a proponent of taxes. I believe in allowing the free market to dictate how things go and how business operates. However, this past term, I have been the Finance Committee Chair, and I've been on council for 6 years now, and I actually know the budget. I know each department and what they require and how much we spend. And I know that although we spend a lot of money in overtime, it would cost us a lot more in healthcare to make drastic changes to our overtime budget. So it sounds great to say that we spend too much money in overtime and those are hundreds of thousands of dollars that are wasted. But when you actually calculate what it would cost us to employ another person and the healthcare costs that are associated with that person, there's a real balance there, and we've determined in most cases that it is actually more fiscally responsible to pay the overtime than to have those healthcare costs, because as the city has grown over the last 6 years, and we have grown, healthcare is the killer. I mean, the uncertainty of what will happen with Obamacare certainly weighs in on that, but healthcare costs have exploded, and as a municipality that employs well over 100 people, that's a lot of healthcare that we need to provide. So that's something that is really important, and it's not a simple fix that we just slash overtime and hire more people. It's not as simple as that. But as the Finance Committee Chair, I have looked at every department, and I agree with Brian actually that we've spent far too much in legal services. I have been the most vocal person on City Council opposed to the amount of money that we have spent on outside legal services. And frankly, I don't believe that it's all been legal either. I think that the administration needed to come to council and either make us aware or get our authority to hire some of those outside law firms, to hire consultants to write a policy manual for the City of Alliance that is hundreds of pages long, and now, as we know, not even follow the policy in every circumstance, is absolutely outrageous to me. So I don't agree with some things that we spend money on, but as council, we only have so much control. We've set a budget, and we have to ask the questions and demand answers from our administrators that they are spending the money according to our budget and according to the wishes of the body that controls the money, because City Council holds the purse strings. And so as a City Council person, I can't tell the police chief, you know what, you gotta lay off a couple guys because the overtime is just outrageous. That's not my job. My job as a City Council person, and currently as the Finance Committee Chair, is to make sure that all of the city administrators who have access to spending money are doing it responsibly. And I can assure you that if I am reelected next year and I have the opportunity to be on the Finance Committee, the Outside Legal Services Fund will have $0 in it, because I will not sit on council and allow that to happen again. But beyond that, I mean, we can talk about legal services, and that's one item that I certainly am opposed to the spending on, but we have trimmed the budget substantially. We have far fewer employees than we had when I was first elected. We provide fewer services. There's not a lot of fat to trim. It's a great anecdote to say we need to tighten our belts. And maybe there's a little more tightening to do, but when the state auditors come in and they've reviewed our budget and they can't give us any immediate things that we need to evaluate, I think that's confirmation that we've done a pretty good job, that we are cutting where we can cut, that while there maybe are improvements we can make when we do the budget next year, we've done a lot. I mean, the state of Ohio, it's easy to put the blame back on the state of Ohio, but the state is designed to provide money to municipalities because of the taxes that they collect. So when the state of Ohio cut all of our taxes and we didn't have to pay as much to them, in turn, they didn't provide as much to the cities. And now the city gets almost nothing from the state of Ohio. A couple years ago, it was millions of dollars that we were getting from the state of Ohio. So it's not financial irresponsibility on the city's part that the state of Ohio has cut millions of dollars in our funding, but it is our responsibility to figure out how to deal with that. And so my financial perspective is that although I don't like taxes, I think the light at the end of the tunnel for us is to try and make Alliance grow. And the one way that I think we could really find a path to growth is to invest in the things that make people want to move here. And if I'm a young person with a young family and I'm evaluating different communities where I want to live, there are certain amenities that I would want to look for. One of those amenities is parks and green spaces and recreation. We have a great parks department. And one of my favorite things about the parks department is they have a park board that makes the financial decisions. It's not just the city administration. So if we allow the parks department to grow and flourish, we can attract people to come live here. They will in turn pay income tax. We will have a better tax base to support the services that we provide, and we don't just have to tax our way out of this, because we cannot tax our way out of this. Although I am an advocate for a park levy that would allow us to grow and support one of our best attributes, it's not the solution. We have to be able to grow. We have to convince people that they want to live in the city of Alliance, and that when they write their income tax check in April, when they have to pay taxes, that they are going to a city that is going to use them responsibly. So we need to prove that we will spend it responsibly. We need to invest in something that will attract people here, and we need to evaluate every single expenditure. And I will continue to do that if I'm reelected.
So, I hate taxes, like all taxes. I don't want to pay any taxes. That would be a great world if we could live in that and not have to pay any taxes. But the fact of the matter is that cities are designed to provide services, and that money has to come from somewhere. So, my thinking, because I've done my homework, folks, for this job. I've attended every single city council meeting since January except for one, which is when I opened my business. I've also attended every finance committee meeting. I've looked at budgets, and I've tried to find where we could cut more money, because just like other people, I think surely the government's overspending. The government has to be overspending. That's what government does. Not so much in this case. We have made some serious cuts. I'm actually fairly impressed with the efforts that the city's made to cut costs. So yes, we do have to consider some sort of levy. Parks levy is what people are talking about right now. I honestly haven't decided if that's the direction that I think we should go. I'm still investigating for myself. Safety forces are a huge priority for me. I need to make sure that when I call 911, someone's going to show up. I need to make sure that when I go use this beautiful park, there's not going to be a bunch of drug dealers there. I need to be sure when I'm walking on the walking trail, I'm not going to get mugged. So those things matter. And so sometimes I think maybe what we need to be exploring is a general fund levy of some sort. But because I hate income taxes and property taxes so much, I believe that it needs to be a limited levy, 3 to 4 years, to give us room to breathe, to find a more permanent solution to our problem. Whether that is increasing revenue streams to the city, my big giant idea of us being able to have sales tax instead of income tax, whatever we need to explore. But anything that we do needs to be limited with a promise that we're going to find a way to solve that real problem. And I'm ready to come to the table and do the work to find the solutions to those problems. I've already been there, doing the work, doing my homework, being prepared to be the best representative I can be for you.
I think over the last 4, 5, 6 years, the financial committee has been using the short-term effect that we lost a state tax, and they've just been reacting. Instead of being proactive when they first lost the state tax, they should have started right then and there, start looking for new ways to get businesses and jobs here in the city. That's the only way we're going to get revenue in our city besides increasing the burden on you guys as taxpayers. Any taxes right now, I would say no to, hands down, no questions asked, because there is stuff we can trim, there's ways we can move it around the budget. Second of all, overtime is sometimes justifiable, but at the same time, we can't jeopardize the actions of our first responders, our police department, our firefighters. We can't just jeopardize their life just because we want to make sure they got overtime. We don't want to hire somebody. We find a way to cut the overtime and actually take that money from overtime and hire people into place. I'll give people jobs or increase some of our tax revenue. Also, the fire department is one great example. They brought to the table a whole first responder unit about a truck, bring a for service charge with some of them. Those people don't know that's already put inside their insurance plans. And car insurance, some of them, some of their health insurance, home insurance, that's already in there. So we're going to be collecting the money that other people are getting, or we're not even using. The fire department said to bring at least $80,000 to the table with that, to the city a year. There should be no debate about it. We should say yes, let them do it, move it forward, cut our overtime, get more people.
Did you want to make any more?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
One thing to add to Julie said, which she might be right, that we can't, like if you're on council, you can't make the police chief fire somebody or lay somebody off. But one thing I will do if elected, I don't care if I have to be in the police chief's office every day, I will hold them accountable and I will put pressure on these people. We are here, if we're elected, we are working for you guys, the people, not for them. Just like I see the firefighters are back there, and just like Fire Chief Hunt, if I have something he's ignoring me, I'll be at the fire station every day till they hear us. I've been hearing lately is transparency. It's out the door, and I actually agree it is. Nobody's being held accountable, and everything is just in turmoil. Everybody's on different pages within the city, departments. All that needs to change, and as a councilman, I will demand answers, and I will also demand accountability. If I have to issue a press release every day with the Alliance Review, I'll do it. I mean, I think we've really lost transparency, and it's one of our big issues here. Every department seems to be on a different page, and there's all kinds of infighting. And I think that's also causing a lot of our issues, financial as well as many others. Thank you.